Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sam Gutmann from Golden Seeds. So I figured I'd spend about a minute giving you my background and how I got here, a minute or two on Golden Seeds, and then perhaps take some questions if we still have time. So I guess I consider myself an entrepreneur on a bit of an entrepreneurial hiatus. Started my first company rather when I was in fourth grade, and after making my first, last, and only sale, decided there had to be something that was a little more scalable and had a better distribution model than catalog, which is really just photocopies of trinkets I made in the basement and distributing them at family events. So after trying a number of other things, I started a software company about 10 years ago in the online backup space. We were one of the first online backup services out there. It was a great scalable SaaS business, grew it from started in the basement of the parents' house, and grew it pretty nicely for a couple years, and then decided that we need a little capital to really scale. So we took a Series A $5 million investment in 2007, and as a lot of the other VCs have told you up here already, the VC partners, obviously they could tell us how to grow our business better than us. So we stumbled a little bit in the beginning, but really began to continue growing after that. We started the business here, moved it up to Boston, continued to grow pretty nicely, 100% a year for a few years after that, and after growing the company, fairly sizable number of employees and customers and things, decided that I just wasn't having as much fun as I had in the beginning, and frankly, my wife absolutely hated Boston, so it was time to move back to New York. So I had the opportunity, I had some other ideas, figured I'd focus on those, had the opportunity to exit completely, make a couple of bucks, figured I'd spend some time traveling, relaxing, not burning out, and start something else. So I did that about 2.5, 3 years ago. Traveled for a while, and one of my trips, I was in a swimming pool in Mexico, which is an awful trip. After a long day of horrible golf and even more horrible tequila, met now a very good friend of mine who was at that point just being recruited to become CEO of a kind of a startup that was struggling, needed new management. So this went on for quite a while, and a few months later he called me and said, hey, they're going to put me in January. There's a bit of a recap here. Do you want to invest alongside the angel group and the VCs? I said, I'll give you a couple bucks. What's the minimum? So I did that, and the majority investor there is Golden Seeds. So he said, great, you've invested. Why don't you have coffee with some of the Golden Seeds members? So I did that. So Golden Seeds is the fourth largest angel network in the country, and there are three parts of the organization. There's a traditional angel network. We have about 300 members, 200 based here in New York. We have groups in Boston, Silicon Valley, and Texas. And we also have a venture capital arm with about $40 million under management, and there's a Knowledge Institute. So after learning about all this, I said, you know what, maybe I'll get sucked into the vortex a little bit. It's a good opportunity for me to learn the other side of the business, and I think every entrepreneur has the dream of making a lot of money and being the guy on the other side of the table. And I think from the flip side, every VC who's never done a startup really would always like to do one of those as well.
True.
And they won't admit it. So I said, let me learn something.
You always want what you don't have, right?
Let me learn something. Maybe I can contribute a couple of things. So I got pretty involved in Golden Seeds about 18 months ago or 2 years ago. And it's been a lot of fun. We invest in, we see about 400 companies a year. We invest in about 8 to 10 new ones. We've invested $60 million in about 55 companies over the last 4 years in three sectors: consumer, life science, and technology. And what really makes us different is our focus. So we focus on businesses that are, like to call gender diverse management teams, which really means there's a woman founder, owner, or a woman in a C-suite position. But really the sector is we're agnostic to sector. We have a great network of members that have probably worked at every large Fortune 500 company you've ever heard of. So it's a really interesting network, and we can make a lot of great connections.